I am now.
Oh, okay. Let's say that'd be a pretty awesome cold open.
The cold open would be polio. I am now.
That was a 30-minute cold
How
open.
do you, 30 minutes. Yeah, how do you look? I feel like that'd be an improv exercise. Be like, okay, so we're going to reach into this hat and I'm going to pull out a word and you got to make that word funny. And polio. I got polio. You don't have polio. It's been gone for 80 years. I got polio. Stop walking around on your hands. I need an iron lung. Don't ever put this on the internet.
One of our listeners is the last person on an iron lung. I was a faithful listener for 300 episodes until you got too personal.
Dear sons of bitches.
I hope one day you understand the pain of not being able to use your lungs.
And then we'll be like, no, because, hey, vaccines.
First off, you're like 97 years old.
Should have been a bootlegger.
Cure for polio wasn't a vaccine. Was old aged corn.
Yep. And potatoes.
Tomatoes?
No, potatoes. Because you make vodka.
Is that what they mostly used during bootlegging days? Potatoes and corn, or?
Probably. I mean, I would think that that's what you had the most of. Honestly, most of the bathtub, like bathtub gin and like, the stills and all that. Like, I mean, they, made booze, but like, I feel like the real big money bootleggers, like, just got it from somewhere else. They get it from Canada or fucking across the ocean.
Yeah, because they
just bring it in.
Fast cars. They cruise away and you couldn't see them.
Yeah.
Fast car being a car that could go like 80.
Well, because it's like, like some guy walks out of his apartment with he's like, I made 4 bottles of vodka. And then some guy is like, I just pulled 15,000 cases of whiskey off a boat.
Merchandising. Meanwhile, the guy in the apartment's like, but I had the location.
That's how this works, right?
I want to file a grievance. And the guy that's got the 15,000 just goes, bang!
Well, the question is, who's going to sell out first?
You say bottle half empty. I say half full.
I say bottle all gone because I sold mine.
Now to make some more. See you in a month.
How much did you make? I made $12. I sold all my bottles.
How much did you make?
Well, I've only sold half. Oh, that's too bad. How much? Oh, 40,000.
I get them for $1. I get them for like 10 cents a bottle.
See you next week.
Meanwhile, you take $20 a bottle just to make it. That's what you learned in bootlegging days is economics.
And you also learn that, stills have a smell.
What do they smell like?
Well, I mean, the whole place smells like booze.
No, that's true.
It's not like a meth lab, but is meth the new bootlegging? Is meth the new bathtub gin? Because I don't know, like something like it seems like you're like bootlegging and stuff like that. Like, sounds classy, You imagine a guy in a suit.
Yeah, but if you look, it's usually a guy in like bibs with one of the hooks not hooked, missing a few teeth,
with a stick in a bathtub.
Yeah, a piece of straw hanging out of his mouth.
You know what? Still seems classier than like somebody running a meth lab. Yeah, see? If I say to you like country bootlegger.
Yeah, because they're missing teeth because of bad hygiene, not because of using their product.
That's how you can tell they've been sampling.
Mm-hmm.
So it's good.
This one's got the extra batteries.
I've got 4 molars to prove it. Hold out your hand.
3. It's a weird world we live in, Richard.
That's true. Everybody's making meth and not dying of polio. What kind of a world is that? All right, I'm going to blow my nose and then we're going to do a show. No, I don't know what it is, but it seems like every time. not every time, but like a lot of times when we're recording, like my whole like sinuses will get like stuffed up. But it's only when we're doing this. I don't know why that is.
There's something around your desk?
Well, if that was the case, wouldn't it just happen when I was here?
Yeah, that's true. You just get nervous.
I think it has something to do with having my earbuds in and talking extensively. I don't know. Maybe. That's the only thing I can think. That's the only difference between me just sitting here and me doing a show. I'm allergic to podcasting, Shawn, but I'll power through.
Richard, you're not allergic to podcasting.
It's gonna give me polio.
I read it on Wikipedia.
In the middle of the show, I can't feel my legs. All right. For the record, this is gonna start from me at like the 9.5 minute mark.
Okay. I've got 30 minutes recorded so far.
What's up, everybody? I'm Richard.
And I'm Shawn.
And we have been speaking the language of bromance for the last hour, but now it's time to get serious, Shawn. It's serious time. No more talk about bootleggers and polio.
More on to serious matters. We're not pretending.
On a more serious note, I don't need any of your frivolous.
We're not going to pretend like we're back in the day and asking, would you be a bootlegger? Do you think you had the balls to be a bootlegger?
I don't know if I'd have the balls to be a bootlegger, but I feel like at the very least I would like load a truck or something. Like, I don't think I'd be like a fucking like a gangster bootlegger, like walking around shooting people in the face.
Those are the ones that get shot nobody cares about. It's like, oh,
exactly. I'd be that guy. I'd be the guy that gets shot on the side of the road.
Yeah, nobody
That'd be
cares.
me. That'd be my lot in life. But you know what it isn't, Shawn? Polio.
It's true. Like, the rival gang killed Richard. Richard? Who the fuck names their kid Richard?
Yeah.
No, Richard. Bang! Don't contradict me.
Yeah. It's 1923. What do you think?
Oh,
what do you
God,
think
yeah.
you're doing? Talking back.
And there'd probably be nobody'd care either. It's like just another dead body. They're like, who did it die from? Polio.
Buried in a potter's field.
Bullets were encased in polio.
That's just mean. That's mean-spirited.
And very sophisticated for the 20s.
That's true. That's true. I've been watching Boardwalk Empire. That was why we were talking about it. But we're moving on. Completely different subject. Although, I think in roughly the same time. I'm going to give you a history lesson, Shawn. And like I like to do. And also, we're going to talk about two of my favorite things. History.
Love history.
And animals.
We love animals and history.
We do. So I got on this subject. It started with one story, and then it quickly transitioned into a list. So what we're going to do is I'm going to tell you the story that initially got me hooked, that made me go, well, how deep does this rabbit hole go? Pun intended.
Oh,
Shawn, this is a story about a cat.
Ooh, I love cats. I'm more of a if you gun to my head with bullet cased polio bullets,
whoa,
I would say I'm probably more of a cat person. I like dogs, but cats I think are just easier to hang out with. Less work, nicer. No, they're not nicer.
They're not nicer.
But they do fuck off, though. You know what I mean? Like, if a cat gives you attention, it's earned.
They do.
A dog is just like, you're here. Like, dogs are sluts for attention. It's basically what I'm saying.
I always attribute it to like dogs, especially when they're younger. Dogs remind me a lot of like toddlers.
Yes, yeah.
And when they get older, they're not so like, oh my God, I need attention. But I will say that like mentality wise, like I'd say they're probably akin to maybe like a 7-year-old.
A cat would be like a teenager. It's only there, like only
a
comes around you
shitty
when you need something.
teenager.
Yeah. Makes you question your life choices. You go to that fridge and it's just looking at there, staring at you like, oh yeah, another peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
Shawn, I raised one teenager. I have another teenager, and then I have one that's about to be a teenager. And I'm telling you, that's exactly what it's like. Straight from the cat's mouth. So skittish, shy, and lackadaisical, cats don't seem particularly suited for warfare. Yeah, that's right, Shawn. Warfare.
Honestly,
because when you see a cat, the first question that always comes to your mind is, I wonder how that cat would do in the field of battle.
it would just run into an ammo box and climb in it.
Just sitting there. No, Fluffy, please. I need to use the grenades, Fluffy.
Bite your hand.
Oh, don't you give me that lip.
But cat, you'd go in and pet it and it'd be like all fine and calm. And then you'd reach for the grenade and that's what it'd get you.
And like paw at you.
Mm.
And you're like, no, I'm not playing a game. I really need those.
And then she grabs it and pulls the chain on it and y'all blow up.
Mm. But as far back as 9,500 years ago, shortly after their domestication, they were instituted as pint-sized warriors in naval ships and rat-infested trenches.
Oh, so basically kind of exterminators.
Well, yeah, because like, you know, during wartime, like what's one thing that's gonna, you know, basically hobble your forces right out of the gate? Disease.
Yeah.
What spreads disease? Rats spread disease. How do you get rid of that? Get yourself a cat.
Oh,
and that way
rats.
you only have one diseased furry thing running around on a ship.
Yeah. The problem though is a rat, you just shoot it once and it's dead. Cat, you have to do it 9 times.
I know from experience.
I feel like
9 bullets.
We should change our podcast to just dad jokes.
All I had was a 6-shooter. Little bastard clawed me to shit before I could reload. But yeah, like, so on ships, obviously, you know, you'd see rats on ships and everything, especially back in the day. And so, you know, you put a cat on the ship and then you don't have to worry about, you know, rats running around.
Or at least as much. Like they'd
running
probably be,
like over your face while you sleep.
Yeah, because they'd probably be like down further, but if there's a bunch of them, they'd move up. It's like anything in the movie taught me Titanic. If a ship's going down, you follow the rats.
Yeah, yeah.
Which is crazy to think about. It was a brand new ship and it had a bunch of rats on it.
They weren't people weren't the cleanest.
Yeah, that's true. Well, I know, hasn't there, like, I've seen one rat in my life. And as well as in Chicago. And I just happened to look down an alley at night. I saw this thing that looked like a cat, but its tail was really, really skinny.
Yeah.
It was big.
What'd it do?
It said, Shawn, follow me. I will teach you the ways of the ninja.
Did you go with him?
I did. And what I found out, Richard, is you're not supposed to take candy from strangers.
Especially diseased rats.
Mm-hmm.
You know what that rat probably had? Polio.
Mm-hmm.
Thought we eradicated it.
We thought we eradicated it.
God damn it.
But we didn't.
Well, that's all the bromance we have.
Did rats spread polio? Do you know?
No, I don't think so.
I know they spread the black
Maybe
plague.
they did. I don't know.
Well,
Shawn, it's 2020. I don't know how fucking polio works. That's gone. We passed that. That's back there. We're here, and that is back there.
Back there where it belongs.
Yeah. Yeah.
Actually,
because we made medicine, and the medicine told polio to go fuck itself.
Do kids still get polio vaccines, though?
No.
I need to research
because they don't need to.
It's completely gone. But smallpox isn't. This is where I got to listen to like a Things You Know podcast, because smallpox is eradicated too.
Yeah.
But they still have vaccines for it available, right?
Well, not widely available.
I gotcha.
I mean, they still exist, but they're not widely available. We're not doing this. We're not doing that. I refuse. But yeah, so on ships, you'd have a cat to kill rats. And then obviously in the trenches, because like you're in the trench and then your buddy Roger next to you gets shot and then he falls down in the trench and then, obviously they can't get to Roger right away to take him out.
Yeah. So
then you're sleeping next to, Roger's corpse for 3 days. That's when the rats show up.
Yeah. They're like, we'll take this. How much you want for it?
So you put a cat in the trench and then the cat keeps all the rats away. So that way they don't, again, crawl over your face while you sleep.
How many cats do you think a ship would need? Because one, if you had a couple cats breed like crazy.
I would think it would depend on the size of the ship.
Like your average size.
Just like one big fat fucking cat.
It's too fat to even kill anything.
It just sits there and just like... It just...
There's like one fat like steward guy who's like bringing the cat food.
It snapped its collar off like 3 weeks ago.
Well, no, its collar's still there. Just all the fat rolls are hanging over it. And it goes, kill me. I'm a monster. I haven't seen my tail in a month.
All I've eaten is diseased rat meat for 3 weeks.
I should say no, because I know it just goes right to my thighs, but it's so delicious.
During World War I, the British Army employed nearly 500,000 cats.
Holy shit.
To fend off unwanted critters on land and at sea.
Do you know, like, it's a scary thought to think of 500,000 cats in, like, one place. I mean, I know these weren't, but, like, you talk about, like, revolution, be like, oh, you can't be
like, you're going to, like, the cat store.
Yeah.
You know, like, hello, my name is, well, this is World War I, but for the record, like, my name's Winston Churchill. And then a guy's like, hello, Mr. Churchill. My name's Bombadil. What you need? All I do is sell cats. And then Mr. Churchill goes, well, I need cats. And then, how many do you need? 500,000. Blimey.
This is going to be a
That's a boatload of pussy. I go. Damn it.
But, I mean, you think, so, like, let's say he's got, like, this huge warehouse of these 500,000 cats. I can't think of anything more creepy than walking in having 500,000 cats just kind of look at you through their cage.
Right?
Like pacing back and forth.
Yeah, they're putting their little paws out.
Because like cats are judgy.
They are.
Like dogs, like it'd be kind of cute. They'd be like, oh, that's a person. But cats are just like, you fucking fat Churchill. Smoking another cigar. What's
fuck
that
you,
cane
fat
for?
English fuck.
You should drink more tea and eat less crumpets.
Every World War II vessel had at least one cat aboard at all times.
That doesn't seem like enough.
Like I said, I feel like it depends on the size of the ship.
I feel like they should be like,
and also like think about this. Like, I don't know how that would totally work because like, a lot of ships, like they have the doors that like latch shut. Like with the fucking like big wheel and shit like that,
Yeah, that's a good point because like my cat
gets its tail in there.
I'm just in my house here. My cat gets stuck in rooms all the time. Like, could you imagine a ship? You'd be like, I haven't seen Scooter in a while. Where is he?
Yeah.
You go to like the barracks or some room you never go into, and there it is, dead.
Yeah,
being eaten by rats.
or like a crewman ends up dead, and then the cat eats its eyes. Because that's what they do, Sean. I know we've talked about this, but that's exactly what they do.
Yeah. And they have to put the cat down. The cat didn't do anything wrong. They had to eat.
Yeah.
Do you think that, like, if you, like, or, like, like you brought in, would you bring in a cat that ate somebody's eyes?
No.
Why?
Well, okay. Would you?
No, God, no. That's Satan's cat.
How do you know that your cats haven't?
Because I got mine as a kitten.
Well, I have two.
I'm fairly confident.
One of them I found as a kitten, but I've honestly, like, both of mine I found those are found animals.
Oh, maybe
so maybe they did.
Yeah, they just.
Sean, I could have there could be a killer in my home.
Yeah, that one right behind you. The cats leap from home to home, hoping that each leap they'll find a dead body.
Fuck.
They're like, we've been here for 2 years. I see how he eats. I thought it'd be sooner than this.
Shawn, now I have enough to worry about in my life now. And I was already slightly worried about my cat eating my eyes while I sleep. But now I'm wondering, like, what if it did?
Yeah, it could have.
At some point.
You know, I would
My
rather...
cat could be a murderer, Shawn.
I'd rather my cat be a murderer than what she does. So when I'm sleeping in bed, like, I'll be on the edge of the bed, but there'll be, like, maybe, like, 3 inches of bed between my head and, like, the edge of it.
Uh-huh.
She'll jump on top of the bed, and then she'll jump down and hit that little spot to shake my head awake.
Ah, yeah. And then it starts smoking a cigarette and it puts on a beret.
Yeah. Like, now that
get your lazy ass up.
Why don't you go get your ass off the bed and get me some food?
Why don't you go catch a fucking diseased rat, you fuck?
This catnip is so good. It's good shit.
But in this boundless expanse of cats, one stood out for his outstanding valor. His efforts for Britain's Royal Navy during World War II, first surviving a brutal attack that killed its caretaker.
Richard, if you tell me this cat like took up arms during a sea battle, there needs to be a statue made. It's just in a box going, wow, wow, wow. Blows up a ship.
No, it's the statue's like one of those boxes that you push a button and then a paw comes out. That's the statue. Survived the brutal attack that killed its caretaker, and then proceeding to annihilate rats and raise the morale of his crew, made him a national hero and earned him the prestigious Daikin Medal. To this day, he is the only cat to ever receive the reward.
Is that an award for like animals in war kind of thing?
I think it might be an actual medal that's given to people.
Oh, damn.
So it's people and a cat.
Because I think in US we have medals for animals, like horses. I think have won something.
Well, yeah. Can you imagine? Of course, you can imagine why. Like, think about it. Like, let's say you get a medal. Let's say you're a war hero, Shawn, and you get a medal, and then you're like, "Oh my God, this is a very prestigious honor. Who else has gotten that?" Well, this cat over here did.
Fluffy got it. Oh, is that like some dude's nickname? No.
Why they call him Fluffy? Because he's fluffy. Like,
because he's a fucking cat, you dickhead.
He's a fucking cat, you.
Show
idiot.
some respect, you asshole. That cat is a goddamn country treasure.
Fucking support the troops, you sick bastard. This is the story of Simon, the bravest cat in history.
All right. First off, Simon, horrible cat name.
Yeah,
great chipmunk name.
Simon.
Great chipmunk name. Horrible cat name.
Since this story goes into a little bit of history. It says, before we jump into Simon's harrowing tale, let's first clarify what qualifies an animal as brave. Since 1861, only 3,469 U.S. soldiers have been bequeathed the Medal of Honor, which is the country's highest military recognition. Britain's equivalent, which is known as the Victoria Cross, is even more sparsely given out. Just 1,354 in the last 154 years.
Well, I thought I don't know the number, but I think a majority of the people that get those awards get it after their death because the act to get it usually ends up in their death.
Right.
Like it's the sacrifice that they made.
The Daikin Medal, which is the UK issued equivalent for animals.
Oh, okay.
Is the highest military honor an animal can receive. You know how many have been given out in its history?
14.
65 times. And this would have been, it doesn't actually give a history on when the medal was founded. In the early 1900s, the medal's namesake, Maria Daikin, a social reformer in London, began to notice that a large number of the city's animals were living in appalling conditions. One night, while nursing her own sick puppy, she had an epiphany, and it was her destiny to provide animals with free health care. God damn it. Daikin's plan was to provide care for the sick and injured animals of the poor. and she was cast off as a batty old woman. But in 1917, with a small group of supporters, she opened the first clinic in a cellar and began to train her own vets. By the 1940s, her institution, which is known as the People's Dispensary for Sick Animals, or the PDSA, has become one of Britain's largest animal care facilities.
That's surprising, because I mean, you think back then it was like you have a sick pet. It was like, well, we're not fixing it. It's a usually,
a pet.
Well, even then at that point, like if
like the vet clinic was just basically a guy with a shotgun and fairly good aim.
Yeah, well, because it was more of like if you're out like in the middle of the country and it's like, well, we don't have pets. We have animals that provide some kind of service. Like the cats would keep the mice down. The dogs would, help with, herding the sheep or hunting or something like that. And it's like, oh, this doctor wants to charge us $1,000 to replace the hip on this dog. Bang! We're going to get a new dog.
I mean, unfortunately, let's be honest, isn't that kind of the case now?
To an extent. I mean, I don't know what I would spend on my pets. My cat, about 6 years ago, maybe 7, I dropped like $3,000 on her in a year.
Oof.
And people
I had a cat that came home once with like its jaw all messed up. I don't know if it had been in a fight or what, but like its jaw had been dislocated. It was like missing teeth. I had to wire its jaw shut. I had to feed it with a bottle.
And that's why, Richard, you and I are going to go right to heaven.
Yeah.
I do feel like if you like care for animals.
That's why I don't worry about anything.
Yeah.
That's why morality is just a sick joke anymore, because I've already paid my bill.
You're like, listen, do you see how much I paid to wire this fucking cat's jaw? Yeah. And I fed it with a bottle.
Yeah, that's why every time I see an orphan, the first thing I do, square punch it in the face. Right in the mush.
Check that list again, St. Paul. I'm pretty sure I'm on there. No,
maybe Mr. Washington has something to say about this. In 1943, the foundation instituted the Daikin Medal, an award to acknowledge animals' conspicuous gallantry or devotion to duty while serving in war. Since then, the tiny bronze medallion, which reads "For gallantry and we also serve," has been awarded prudently.
I feel like obviously I don't think the animal thinks like, oh my God, great, like I've been honored. But I feel like that's more for people to realize like, hey, guess what? Like there's these animals that provide a ton of security and help for our, military service kind of stuff.
So I said 65 times. Honestly, there's like a huge gap in that, because it gives, I have a list here of all the animals that have been awarded this medal. Looks like there was, about 3 to 4 every year from 1943 to 1949. But then the next one isn't until the year 2000.
Well, I mean, the 40s would have been World War II, right?
Yeah. World War II ended in 45.
And so Korean War was in the 50s.
Yeah.
Was Britain
you're talking about the UK.
Britain was in the Korean War though, weren't they?
Not really. So from 1949 to 2000 there was nobody. No animals. Apparently they all sucked. You're a shitty dog. You don't get a medal.
You should be more like Simon.
So 60% of the medals were awarded in the first 6 years. I'm sorry. In the medal's first 6 years, a majority of the medals were bestowed upon pigeons.
Already, I don't like this award.
Over the course of both world wars, nearly 800,000 pigeons were used to transmit messages, sometimes flying up to 600 miles.
Yeah, and all the things they pooped on?
Shawn, they're working, okay? They have jobs.
They don't have
time. They're just trying to fucking do their duty while making their duty.
All to get from point A to point B, where hopefully they get another seed.
And then you come along with your fucking hippy dippy bullshit.
Why didn't they use ravens? That worked in Game of Thrones.
Oh, that's a good point.
I think it's probably because pigeons are cheaper and easier to get a bunch of.
Yeah, but ravens are cooler.
They are cool. Then you could paint like the Britain flag on them.
Yeah. Okay, so now we're going to talk about Simon.
My name is Simon.
Who is the only cat to have ever received the award.
Did he get it for eating pigeons?
In the spring of 1948, while walking along a busy naval shipyard on Stonecutters Island in Hong Kong, George Hinkenbottom spotted a tiny, undernourished, and feeble cat. The soldier, who was just 17 at the time, had been stationed in China as a crew member of the Amethyst, a frigate sent to protect British troops in the country. Because at this point, this is 1948, so at this point, the UK owns Hong Kong. Like they have
the 100-year lease or 99-year lease or whatever it was.
Yeah. Yeah. Hinkenbottom took a liking to the kitten, scooped him up, and smuggled him onto the Amethyst cabin under his uniform. At the time, it was common for warships to house cats, as they were adept at catching and eradicating mice, creatures that spread disease, damaged ropes and woodwork, and muddled the crew's food supply. Cats were also believed by many seamen to possess miraculous weather detecting powers. If a cat licked its fur, it supposedly indicated a hailstorm. If it sneezed, it meant rain. And, quote, friskiness was an omen of high winds.
And if it licked its butthole, beware the Kraken.
God damn it. Hinkenbottom soon declared his new pet Simon the captain's cat and put the feline to work.
Well, he just did that so the captain didn't throw it off the bridge or off the ship. It's like, no, it's Simon 100%. The captain's cat.
Yep.
Hinkenbottom.
Like, wait a minute, I'm the captain. I love this cat.
Can we get in a sailor outfit, but cat-sized?
Simon grew to a fairly average-sized Moggy or mixed breed. His fur was all black with a white bib and white paws. And for a year, Simon trotted about the ship, napping in the sun and reveling in his newfound attention. He quickly earned repute for his party tricks, one of which was fishing ice cubes out of a jug of water with his paw.
Do a trick, Simon.
Fucking like, pull out a pistol and lay it on the table. I said make me fucking laugh. It got the ice cube out.
Is this what you want?
He was spoiled by the ship's enamored crew. When Bernard Skinner joined the ship as lieutenant commander, he developed a fondness for the cat and kept him close in his quarters during the day. Simon even earned the admiration of Peggy, who was the ship's dog.
You know, there's nothing cuter, in my opinion, than when a dog and a cat actually like each other.
Oh my God, when it's fucking Milo and Otis.
Oh yeah, like the dog's laying down and it's cold and the cat snuggles up to it.
Oh, stop it.
Homeward Bound. I didn't realize there was like an old version of Homeward Bound. I think it's just called The Incredible Journey. But like you watch that and it's like, oh man, animals have souls.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Homeward Bound's the one with Michael J. Fox as one of the voices, right?
Yeah,
one of the dogs.
That's like because on Disney Plus there's I think it's just called The Incredible Journey. It's the same movie, but it's done in like the 50s or 60s.
Okay.
And the animals don't talk, but yeah, same concept. Two dogs and a cat.
Why is there a dog on the ship? What does the dog do? Dogs don't eat mice.
Sniffs out bombs. I don't know what a dog would do. It just barks all day because it's like, I smell a bomb.
It's all fun and games till someone throws a stick off the side of the ship.
Who threw that, Simon? Just hides the other stick behind his back. Look at me. I am the captain dog now.
I don't know. I think we'll have to probably court-martial the cat. Oh, you got an ice cube out. The stressful situation came on April 20th, 1949. The Amethyst made its way to the Yangtze River, or the Yangtze River, to replace another British ship stationed in Nanking. At 8:30 a.m., soldiers in the People's Liberation Army began firing at the ship from the shore. Union flags were masted, the ship's captain increased speed, and the assault soon subsided. But an hour later, as the ship pulled further up the river, the PLA struck again, this time fatally. Stuart Hett, a 22-year-old lieutenant commander at the time, said the first shell burst through the bridge. The first shell burst through the bridge and killed several people.
Ooh.
The commander was mortally wounded. Then they hit the wheelhouse, killed the men on the wheel, and jammed telegraphs. A third shell hit the power room and removed electricity. The ship went out of control and ran aground. 25 men were killed that day.
But it ran, so it didn't sink.
It did not sink. In the chaos, Simon, who was thought to have been asleep in the bulkhead beside Skinner, who was the commander, was gravely wounded by shrapnel.
Simon got cut?
Simon got cut.
Oh, you know, they should have done when the first shot happened. They should be like, stop! We have a cat on this ship.
Holding the cat up like the fucking Lion King.
He can fetch ice cubes.
As onboard medics treated the wounded sailors and identified the deceased, the cat was quickly forgotten. He slunk into the depths of the ship and disappeared.
Oh shit, look at his wounds, probably.
Over the course of the following week, numerous attempts were made to rescue and recover crew members, but heavy fire prevented any success. Spirits plummeted, and Simon, the ship's morale booster, was nowhere to be seen. Downtrodden, the crew pronounced him dead.
Oh, but what he was doing was he was down there, like, all right, this is my time. I got to make my number.
First thing, lick my butthole. But 8 days later, while the 60 remaining sailors were wallowed in grief, Simon miraculously emerged, driven to the surface by thirst.
You know what? Actually, this is a fucking cat thing. In your house, have you ever been like, where the fuck's that cat? And you search every inch of that house and you can't find the cat.
Yes.
And all of a sudden it just shows up.
Yes.
Like, where the fuck were you?
Yeah.
We, the last time we went on like a vacation to Cancun, so it's been like maybe 3 years ago, we were on our way back and my parents were here, but they had left and they couldn't find my cat. And my folks almost turned around and came back. It's like, well, shit, did we leave the door open? Did it get out? Like, we'll feel horrible if this cat got lost. Yeah, she just walked out like 10 minutes later.
Simon was immediately taken to the medic, stitched up, and began a long healing process. But the cat could hardly wait to get back to its military duties. The ship's boilers and fans had shut down as a result of the onslaught, and the rats ran freely through the ventilation system.
Like, this is our time, boys.
They had infested food supplies, invaded living quarters, and made life a greater hell for surviving crew members.
You know, worst thing of all, too, Richard? They couldn't scoop out ice cubes.
Nope. They just dunk themselves in the ice pitcher.
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh, I'm thirsty. Wait, there's a fucking rat in the pitcher. Never mind. Sure wish I could get an ice cube out.
Yeah, quick, shoot it. And the other rat's got your pistol.
Yeah. I don't know how. It got the gun. I don't know how it happened, but it got the gun.
The rat can't shoot. Bang. Oh, damn it.
Despite his injuries, Simon quickly got to business. His first night back, he had 2 confirmed kills.
Oh, yeah. Was he
Within a few days' time, he had succeeded in clearing the deck of the critters, but one foe remained. A gargantuan rat. A giant rat, Shawn.
Tell me they named this rat.
They named it Mouse Tongue. Come on, because it's a mouse tongue.
Yeah, but it's a rat.
And then the PLA leader, the leader of communist China, Mao Zedong.
Oh yeah, I guess.
God damn it, that's fucking clever, right? These guys are on the brink of death. Their ship runs aground, and they still have the wit to come up with a joke like that.
That's true.
God damn it. Give credit where credit's due. For weeks, the scoundrel had avoided traps and gnawed his way through the sealed food. Simon would have none of it. When the cat finally met his nemesis in the storeroom, he pounced. He killed it and proudly dropped it at the men's boots.
Yeah. Dead.
Ah! From then on, the crew hailed him as Able Sea Cat Simon, the first and so far only military title ever given to a feline. Shortly after the cat's dramatic reemergence, a man named John Kearns arrived from Nanking and assumed the lieutenant commander post. A prolific cat hater, Kearns was not enamored with the feline.
Was he allergic to cats?
Yeah, probably. Despite Simon's best efforts, mainly cuddling and bringing the man rats, he failed to win the new commander over until the man fell ill. As he laid seasick one night, Simon leapt into his arms and the two fell asleep together, and any ill will was soon forgotten.
Because in the middle of the night, they both woke up. Because the cat woke up because he heard... He's like, no, Captain, hurry, get to the carpet, get to the carpet.
The cat jumps up, lays in front of the captain. Do you want to be the big spoon or the little spoon? Simon's sleepiness would forge him many other friendships. The psychologically damaged crew found comfort in the cat's companionship, and he'd often nuzzle beside them for mutual naps. For 3 months, as the Amethyst lay stranded, Simon maintained his duties. Soon the ship's morale had improved enough to attempt an escape from the river. On the night of July 30th, 101 days after the ship's bombing.
Oh, shit. That's a long time.
The commander and his semi-repaired ship set off to make the 104-mile dash to freedom.
Damn.
Miraculously, the boat made its way down the river unharmed, met a rescue ship, and proceeded home. By August 1st, news of the crew's ordeal, now known as the Yancey Incident, had spread internationally. The crew and their intrepid cat were lauded as heroes. King George ordered that the men be given a round of drinks, and during a special ceremony, Simon was decorated with the first of 3 awards, an amethyst campaign ribbon. While docked in Hong Kong, the crew also received a telegram that said, at the captain's discretion, we would like to award Simon with a Daikin medal. The commander quickly responded, including a list of Simon's confirmed kills and an update on his health. Saying that he had recovered fully from his wounds. Although he is still very nervous of bangs and sudden noises. Oh God, Shawn, the cat has PT. The cat's shell shocked.
Oh yeah, he is. I kind of want to know how they carried him across that 104-mile run.
Well, no, the ship because the ship was aground, so the ship got free and sailed down the river for 104 miles.
So it was still seaworthy-ish.
It was still seaworthy. It just had run aground because the controls got fucked.
Oh, okay. For some reason, I thought they escaped the ship and ran. Which, if you try to run with a cat, it's impossible.
Yeah, right. So yeah, and now he's shell shocked. So now there's this cat sitting around like smoking a cigarette.
Thunderstorm comes through.
Oh God. And all it hears is and this cat is just fucking staring off into space.
Just sitting in a corner, tails all poofed out.
Yeah. Smashes a whiskey glass on the wall.
Is that fucking rat here? Is that fucking rat here?
Meanwhile, there's a female cat that's like, Simon, you're yelling again. When the Amethyst returned to England in November, Simon was greeted with a hero's welcome and was showered with photographs.
Oh, that's not good. Cats don't like water.
God damn it. Fans from around the world sent him letters, poems, gifts of food, and toys. During his 6-month quarantine, which was necessary for all returning crew, he received dozens of daily visits.
That doesn't seem like
including one from the commander who had planned to adopt him upon release.
Aww.
And this is a guy that was a cat hater.
It's like, you taught me that the only way I can truly feel good about myself is throwing up on the carpet. For that, Simon, I am grateful.
Unfortunately, Shawn, toward the tail end of his quarantine, pun intended, Simon developed a fever and acute enteritis, which is the inflammation of the small intestine. On November 28th, just 2 weeks before the ceremony, he passed away.
It's all that rat meat. It's too high in cholesterol.
His award was posthumously accepted by the once cat-hating commander and his wife, and was followed with an honorary Blue Cross medal. The vet would later state that Simon's decline was due in part to the wounds he sustained at war. The companionship of the cat's crew surmised his caretaker had likely kept him alive.
That's sad. So he didn't even get his award.
No, it was awarded posthumously. Simon's Daikin Medal would eventually become one of the most prized naval medals in the world. In the mid-1960s, when the Royal Navy liquidated its awards, it was sold to a Canadian buyer for several £1,000s. After changing hands several times, it found its way back to London, where it sold in 1993 at an auction for $43,000.
Dang. And that didn't even get, the cat didn't even, touch it.
Yeah, right?
I mean, you could legit be you talked about bootlegging. You could legit bootleg these and sell them for $1,000 a piece.
Yeah. Just get a piece of metal and write Simon on it in magic marker.
But nowadays,
best cat ever, and you spell cat with a K, like a backwards K.
That's if we had our own store, that's what we would start selling.
Simon is buried in the PDSA's specially assigned cemetery in East London. Throughout the Yancey incident, reads his tombstone, his behavior was of the highest order.
Oh, do you think he knew he was doing something bigger, or do you think it was just him doing his animal thing?
I think he was a fucking cat and he just functioned as a cat.
I don't know. I go both ways on that.
Although there is something to be said, for a cat that fucking sticks it out when fucking shells are exploding on a ship.
Yeah, but if that ship's too big, I mean, that's pretty much like the whole world to him. It's where am I going to go?
Yeah, that's a good point.
I mean, the dog jumped off the side after I threw the stick and he never came back.
So that whole story, which was a harrowing tale, led me down a rabbit hole.
That's a big hairball tail.
Before we wrap this thing up, I want to quick hit some other apparently animals that ended up becoming war heroes.
Animals that are more braver than you and I combined.
Exactly, right? First off is Sergeant Bill, who's the Canadian hero of World War I.
First off, good name.
Yeah. A train full of Canadian soldiers bought a goat as a mascot.
Oh, Billy Goat.
Yeah. While they were passing through Saskatchewan, they managed to avoid quarantine and smuggle the goat into France. Sergeant Bill stayed with his unit, suffering shrapnel wounds, shell shock, and trench foot. It's a fucking goat.
Well, so he didn't do anything besides get drug along on this adventure.
He went missing once and was once arrested for eating military equipment.
I don't think he was missing. I think he was trying to get away.
Yet he was credited with saving at least 3 lives when he headbutted men into a trench to avoid an exploding shell.
Oh, well, there you go.
So this goat's like, get the fuck out of the way! Whap! He's like, hey, what's the big...
You know, one of those 3 guys punched that goat, too, when that happened.
Right? As soon as it happened, one of those guys stepped in, you fucking stupid...
God damn it, Sergeant Billy, you dumb piece of shit. Whack. Don't hit him, Greg. He's an officer.
Don't strike your superior. Sergeant Bill was honored with the 1914 Star, the General Service Medal, and the Victory Medal for his war efforts. After being retired, he returned to Saskatchewan, and after he died, The goat was,
He was
mounted
turned into
and is now
G-Rose.
part of the Broadview Museum.
His medal sold for $43 million.
This is in New Zealand. The 1st Battalion of the 10th Marine Regiment managed to acquire a duck named Seawash.
Oh, great name.
Yeah, right?
I like that name.
Supposedly, a Marine won the duck in a poker game in New Zealand, and Seawash accompanied the Marines to the Battle of Tarawa in 1943, where the animal engaged in hand-to-hand combat with a Japanese rooster.
Oh, shit.
A citation in Life magazine was said that for courageous action and wounds received on Tarawa in the Gilbert Islands in November of 1943, Seawash, upon reaching the beach without hesitation, engaged the enemy in fierce combat. And though wounded on the head by repeated pecks, he soon routed the opposition, and he refused medical aid until all wounded members of his section had been taken care of.
Refused medical aid, a.k.a. kept biting the shit out of me.
Do you need a bandage? Quack, 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 quack.
He's so brave.
But, sir, you look hurt. Quack, quack, quack.
Quack, 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 quack. I'm like...
Seawash was referred to as he during the war, and then she in her retirement at the Lincoln Park Zoo.
So my chick, actually, it's hard to tell a duck's sex. Like, bird sexes are weird to tell.
Yeah, that's true. Trained zoo personnel probably could tell better than the Marines. Still, it's sad that he had to hide her gender in order to serve. Seawash lived until 1954 when she died of a liver ailment. The duck's death had no connection to her fondness for beer, and a service was held at a taxidermy shop.
So the duck liked to drink a little booze every now and then.
Yeah. Okay, here's where shit gets crazy, Shawn. You ready for this one?
Oh, this is where it gets crazy.
Yeah, this is where it gets crazy. We're going to tell you about Wojtek.
Wojtek was a Japanese chicken that killed 17 men.
No, Wojtek. This is the Polish army. Wojtek was a fucking bear cub.
I have heard of like bears in the army.
Wojtek was a Persian bear cub who was adopted by a unit of Polish soldiers training under the British Army during World War II. The 22nd Transport Company Artillery Division raised him the best they could to be a good soldier. Wojtek fit in quite well. His favorite activities included wrestling, drinking beer, and taking showers.
Okay, this sounds like my spirit animal, but can you imagine a drunk fucking bear?
Right?
It's like,
can you imagine wanting to wrestle a drunk fucking bear?
Comes into the barracks and like falls and is like, somebody's sleeping in my bed. Wojtek, that's not your cut. That's not your cut.
He snuggles up to somebody and be like, this feels just right.
Oh, shit.
When the unit was deployed to Europe, the only way they could take Wojtek with them was to make him an official soldier. So he became Corporal Wojtek of the Artillery Supply Unit.
He was an officer? So he was part of the supply unit. So they were bringing supplies to the front?
I think so.
Or at least to someone in like combat or battle.
Yeah. The bear's finest hour came during the Battle of Monte Cassino, where he loaded 100-pound boxes of artillery shells into trucks all day long. He loaded in trucks all day long, every day until the battle was won. The army honored Wojtek's service by putting his image carrying ammo on the unit's official badge. After the war, Wojtek was housed in the Edinburgh Zoo until his death in 1963.
That sounds like he had a pretty long life then.
Yeah, he lived for another 20 years after the war.
Yeah. And he had a pretty good purpose during the war. Free booze.
True.
Yeah, that's where I asked, like, did the bear just like, well, this is what I do. It's a living. Or did he like enjoy it like it was a game?
All right, Shawn. So, I mean, not only were there, animals, sometimes they fall in with the not so right crowd.
Oh shit.
I'm going to talk to you about Tirpitz. Tirpitz was a pig, and he was carried on the German warship, the SMS Dresden, in 1914 as a food source. The Dresden was sunk in battle with the Royal Navy cruiser, the HMS Glasgow, off the coast of South America during the Battle of Massa Tierra. The pig managed to escape the sinking ship and swam towards the Glasgow. The crew brought him aboard and adopted him as a mascot and named him after the German Admiral Alfred von Tirpitz.
So they turned this Nazi pig into their own? They converted him?
Yeah, they did. They did. Well, it wasn't Nazis then. This is 1914. So it wasn't a Nazi pig.
Well, but even then he was food source, so I don't think he was an actual pig. Like, he wasn't even a German pig. I mean, he was a German pig, but he didn't believe in their ways.
Mm. After a year aboard the Glasgow, he was transferred to the Whale Island Gunnery School in Portsmouth. He was eventually auctioned off as pork, but in his final act, he raised 1,785 pounds for the British Red Cross. His head was mounted and can be seen at the Imperial War Museum. His feet were made into handles for a carving set that traveled with the Glasgow in World War II, giving him the dubious honor of serving aboard the same ship in both wars. So there you go, Shawn. I mean, I'd mentioned the pigeons and stuff, but let's be honest, fuck pigeons, right?
I mean, that's like prehistoric text messaging.
That's true.
But
you got me there.
I don't know. I mean, I think it's interesting. Like I said, I would love to figure out like what these animals thought during these times.
Probably like, holy shit, what the fuck is that noise?
I'm going to go downstairs and eat a rat. But Richard, we heard a great tale about Simon. We heard a great tale about a bear. So what are some of Richard's closing thoughts to tidy up this Medal of Honor pet
We always
version?
say that animals are people too. Apparently animals are soldiers too.
Yeah.
So, and also it just goes to show you that every animal has the capacity to kill. So sleep well tonight.
Mm-hmm. When that cat snuggles up next to you.
Yeah. Or your
Think
pet
about
bear.
Your eyes. God, could you imagine snuggling with a bear though? Could you imagine if you had like a platoon of bears?
Oh my God.
That would fuck you up. Or like a platoon of like cougars or something like that.
What if they were like full grown bears and you like rode them into battle?
Oh, well, yeah, and you jump off of them and they pull out like an AR right behind them.
Oh, like that really shitty fucking that shitty HBO series that nobody's watching.
Yeah, that was
where there's
weird.
like a polar bear in fucking armor.
God, like you talk Planet of the Apes, Planet of the Bears would be pretty creepy.
Oh fuck. Bears together strong.
Porridge make bears strong. All right, well, as we're tidying up
First thing we do, we kill all the blondes.
You want to be in the Goldilocks platoon? That's the top bear platoon. All right, let me do a little bit of housekeeping as we tidy up this episode. Visit our website, we're languagebros.com. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at languagebro, and email us at bros@languagebros.com. You can like us on Facebook. Remember, there are numerous ways you can help support spreading the bromance. You can like, retweet, or share our show on Reddit, and you can also pick up some LOB merchandise at the T Public store.
Or you can do all of those things.
Ooh, yeah. And if you want to do one more thing, you can join our Patreon. It's patreon.com/languageofbromance. We pay for everything of this show out of pocket, so that'll help us not have to send our cats off to battle.
Yeah. And then they'd write us really sappy letters that we would completely ignore and then get another cat. And then the cats would come back from war and see that we have another cat in the house.
Yeah.
And then they're like, oh, God. And then, like, the cat's getting off the plane and, like, somebody spits in the cat's face. War's hell.
But Wendy and Aaron are not, because they are part of the LB Army.
Yes.
That will probably never go to battle because, let's face it, we couldn't.
Or their pets.
Well, I was saying our LB Army, which would just be you and I.
Or our pets.
Yeah, my dogs had gas tonight, too. It's been gross. He's all about that chemical warfare.
Maybe you should just start shooting a gun off. Be like, your ancestors had to deal with this. Why can't you?
All right. Was there anything else before I close her out?
No, I'm good.
All right. Well, that's all the Bromance we have for this show. I'm Shawn.
And I'm Richard.
And remember, don't be a why.
Be a why not.
My name is Simon, the cat that eats rats.
Kill me. I'm a monster.